Mike Santoli joins us with his midday word. I won't ask you about Tesla.
Yeah,
we'll move past
another time. Yeah.
What's on your mind, though, today is, again, we have more earnings coming in.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out what this higher for longer playbook needs to be for the market, and I'm not sure the market's figured that out either.
Well, the market hasn't figured that out for sure. Trying to find where the equilibrium sits if we're going to actually have this better economy with higher rates and a slower Fed. I think if all that were the case, the market would make its peace and it would be fine. But the way you see consumer cyclicals not loving this rate move, the way you see the home builders, the way you see the transports, it shows you that it's not without risk, that the economy, of course, does not manage to absorb it perfectly well. I think that's the bigger kind of strategic fundamental piece of it. The other one is the life cycle of a pullback, which is right now the dip buyers are patient and the sellers are motivated. And that's because you broke loose of that very, very tight uptrend, and now it seems as if you got to go test and test and test, and the prices have to travel a little bit further to find buyers' conviction, and the S&P 500 is right in the gap from the NVDA earnings.
I was going to ask you about that.
Right.
So we're barely hanging on to 5,000 here. What's the significance of that number, and what are the numbers that really are on your mind?
Well, 5,000 or thereabouts. I mean, people have made some fuss about whether that's where a little bit of the hedging by market makers turns a little more negative and not. I'm not too focused on that. I'm more focused on where were we on February 21st when we already thought the economy was good and the Fed was going to ease, and then we got NVIDIA's earnings. And the S&P went from 49.80 to 50.80 in a day. It was a 100-point gain. The index was up 3%, and that really was another momentum push for the market. Now, it doesn't mean there's magic in 49.80 if we get there. It's only a 0.5% from here or whatever it is. But I do think it's interesting that we kind of go down in price and back in time and say things better or worse than they were then.
Well, the broader point, though, is to Adam Parker's point now, the importance that NVIDIA may hold for the next major market move.
Yeah,
more so than looking at the S&P. Look at NVIDIA.
Sure. I think you probably wouldn't love it if that's really what we were waiting for, because they're on a January fiscal year and the numbers come in May, right? So it's like things are going to happen before that. But semis today off the ASML number obviously are a drag. It's not awful breath. It seems really orderly on the downside, whether you want that or not. At this point, while you're waiting for the market to get oversold, that's what we have.
I'll see you on Closing Bell. I appreciate it. Netflix reports on Thursday, by the way, and we're going to give you the setup.